Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
How are you?
Hello.
My name is Tim Rhoze. I'm the artistic director of the Fleetwood-Jourdain Theater. Merry Kwanzaa.
Merry Kwanzaa.
Abargani.
Umoja.
Abargani.
Umoja.
All right. Good evening.
Good evening.
Are we ready?
Yes.
Ready for what?
Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa. All right. Welcome to City of Evanston's 2019 Kwanzaa celebration. First of all, just give yourselves a round of applause for being here. We want to thank you all, and for our Evanston community, let's acknowledge our Council of Elders. We are soul creations. We have a number of artists here that you've seen us on the stage kind of setting everything up, trying to get it ready. I call this the One Love Popcorn Community Greeting. Popcorn, that's my favorite food. So popcorn means it's quick, it pops here, it pops there. It's a community greeting. So I'm going to ask if we can take 2 minutes, just like some of us do in church on Sunday, how we go around and give peace. I'm going to ask if we can just greet someone, people that you do not know. Just walk up to them, say greetings, one love. ritual of the pouring of libations, know that these words are a culmination of all the lessons from my teachers, my elders, my community, and my mentors. We pour libations to the 7 directions, to the east, to the south, to the west, to the north, up, down, and the center that is within us all. We give thanks by pouring, and we all say libations. We give thanks by pouring and saying libations to the life-giving elements, to the earth, the wind, the fire, the water, and the life that results from them all. We give thanks by pouring and saying libations. We give thanks and we pour libations to honor the Creator by whatever name you know that to be, by whatever you call it. If it's simply power, if it's love, Asar, Aset, Olodumare, Yah, Ra, Jah, Rastafari, Jesus, Krishna, Vishnu, Brahman, Quetzalcoatl, and many, many more. By whatever you call that, we give thanks by pouring and saying libations. We give thanks to our ancestors from antiquity, those ancestors who created civilization for which we are the recipients. For those ancestors whose names we may not know, but we know they existed because we existed. For we did not create all that we have. We all were born into something. We were all given something. And to those ancient ancestors, we give thanks by pouring and saying libations. We give thanks to those ancestors on the continent of Africa, to those names we do know, to those freedom fighters, to those liberators, Mansa Musa, Abu Bakari II. You can call out the names as well. Sunjata, Thomas Sankara, Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba, Nelson Mandela. Please call out the names. Don't be ashamed. Call out the names. Call out their names. Keep them alive by keeping their name alive. To those ancestors we give thanks by pouring and saying libations. To the land of Mama Africa, to the east, Ethiopia, Somalia, Uganda, Tanzania, to the south, South Africa, Swaziland, Mozambique, Namibia, to the west, where many of our ancestors came from, Mali, Guinea, Ghana, Nigeria, to the north, Morocco, Chad, Niger, and Egypt. To those lands, to those people, and to those cultures, we give thanks by pouring and saying libations. To the Ma'afa, the Holocaust that Africans survived, the great tragedy, to all those ancestors who came across the transatlantic slave trade, to those who made it, we know they existed because we are here. those who did not survive, whether if it was by lynching, drowning, stabbing, shooting, sickness, illness, or any form of death. We honor those ancestors by pouring and saying libations. To those ancestors throughout the African diaspora, we ask you to call out their names. From Yanga in Mexico, please call out their names. Toussaint Louverture in Haiti, please call out their names. Dessalines, Boukman, Nat Turner, please call out their names.
Fannie Lou Hamer.
Fannie Lou Hamer, call out their names. Call out their names. Call out their names. Keep their names alive. We give thanks by pouring and saying libations. To our Evanston ancestors, those who created this town that we live in, those who contributed to this town that many of us love so dearly, please call out those names of those ancestors from Evanston. Let's hear their names, please. Loud. Let's hear them. Don't be ashamed. Call out their names.
Dennis Lockhart.
Parker Robinson. Casey Robinson.
Roy King.
Susie Robinson. Murray Bell Robinson.
We honor them by pouring and saying libations. To those ancestors in our family, our grandmothers and great-grandmothers and grandfathers and aunts and uncles, those who are no longer living, those elders who we knew, whose blood runs through our veins, in your family, call out their names. Let's hear their name. They are here with us in spirit. Call out their names.
Gilman Ivy.
Granny Ruth,
Alice Lockhart.
Uncle Melvin, Aunt
Donna
Melvin,
Lockhart.
Sarah,
Nancy
Sissy
Lockhart.
Logan, Howie Parkston. Call out their names. Call out their names. We give thanks by pouring and saying libations. To the future generations, to the little ones that are here today, in this center and in this world, we build for them, we create for them, we sacrifice for them, we love them, and we pour and say libations. To those who have yet to be born, those for whom we lay the path for, those spirits to be born one day, to perpetuate all that we've created, we give thanks and we honor them by pouring and saying libations. And last but not least, to you, our Kwanzaa community, we thank you all for being here. In the African spirit, we say, I am because we are. And because we are, therefore, I am. This would be a lonely ceremony if you all weren't here. We appreciate you all being here. We acknowledge you all being here. We give thanks to everyone and everything that contributes to this community. And we give thanks by pouring and saying libations. And it is done. Thank you. So, really quickly, I'd like to give a brief overview of Kwanzaa. I know many of us know about it, but I'm sure there might be some things that some of us can learn about Kwanzaa. And essentially, it started in 1966 in the living room in Oakland, California. You had some brothers and sisters sitting around trying to figure out how can we cultivate community, how can we preserve our culture and our sense of identity. And out of that, One in particular, Maulana Karenga, is known as to be the founder of Kwanzaa, 1966, Oakland, California. It started with just a very few people. That shows the power of what a few people can do. Kwanzaa is a non-heroic, non-religious, non-military ceremony. It's non-religious. Regardless of your denomination, you can participate in Kwanzaa. Non-military. It is the only such celebration in this country that African Americans have that are non-heroic, non-military, and non-religious. And I'd like to quote Maulana Karenga in his own words. He says, and I quote, "The key crisis in the Black community is the cultural crisis of values and views. Values and views. To be really creative, culture must always be self-conscious in concept, construction, and selection. To act creatively is to plan, to protect, and advance towards a goal. Such is the process of self-creation, self-celebration, and self-introduction to history and humanity. All human experiences occur in the context of culture. Learning and instruction are very much culture-bound and determined. The Nguzo Saba, the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, serve as the focus of personal and collective values, traditions, and actions within the African and African American experience. It is uniquely suited to serve as a vehicle for those expressions, and consequently, the teaching of those values are central to our overall mission of attaining real self-sufficiency for African people and building a more beautiful world in the process for us all." That's in the words of the founder of Kwanzaa, Maulana Karenga. So Kwanzaa, I'm going to ask if Chazé can come to the stage, please. And we're going to explain briefly some of the articles that we have on the table, so that you can just point these out as I call them out. So Kwanzaa is based on 7 principles. Okay, if you all can repeat after me. Umoja.
Umoja.
Which means unity.
Unity.
Kujichagulia.
Kujichagulia.
Which means self-determination.
Self-determination.
Ujima.
Ujima.
Which is collective work and responsibility. Ujama.
Ujama.
Which is
Cooperative
economics. And then we have Nia, which is purpose. And then Kaumba, which means creativity. And last but not least, we have Imani, which is faith. So essentially what we're saying is based on those 7 values, that's how we will restore ourselves to our true greatness, both as a people and as a community. The thing about it is these are human values that all can benefit from, okay? So Umoja, we have the basket or the bowl that the fruit is in. So that's the symbol of unity. The mazao are the fruit. And then we have the mkeka, the straw mat, which you can't see there, perhaps it's on the bottom of the kanara. And that straw mat is a symbol of self-determination, because you know, that's done by hand and due to one's ingenuity and creativity and one's labor. And then we have Ujima, which is the kanara. That's collective work and responsibility. So each principle is represented by one of the artifacts on the table. And then we have we have Ujama, cooperative economics. That's symbolized by the fruit. We have Nia, which is purpose. And that's the gifts. So we have shown the books. So in Kwanzaa, it's a non-commercial tradition the idea, you know how many of us get stressed out like shopping for Christmas, and it becomes more about shopping than about the gifts and the wrapping, and like we miss out on the actual essence of what it's supposed to be about. Well, Kwanzaa is trying to preserve that. You are encouraged to not buy gifts unless you're buying them from within your own community, but rather make gifts or give gifts that you have yourself, to give of yourself. That's the emphasis there. Then we have Kaumba. So the Kikombe Cha Umoja is the unity cup that I was pouring the water from to pour the libations. That's the symbol of unity. And then we have Imani, or faith, and then we have the 7 candles. So Baba Chaz is going to light the candles as I explain them. So basically we have 7 candles for the 7 days of Kwanzaa, which corresponds with the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. And the first candle that's lit is the black candle. So black for the black people of Africa and for our ancestors. And then that candle is taken to then light which candle? The red candle on the end. So we work from the outside in. So we use the black candle to light the first red candle. So the black candle is Umoja. The first red candle is Kuji Chagulia. Then, which candle is lit next?
Green.
The green candle on the outside, and that's the principle of?
Ujima.
The third principle?
Ujima.
Ujima. And then the fourth one is the red candle, Ujama. Then the fifth one is, this is going to be participatory. Participatory, you all didn't know that. So the fifth candle is? Nia, purpose. Okay, I'll give you a cheat sheet there. And then the sixth one is Kaumba, which is creativity. And then the 7th one is Imani, which is faith, right? The faith that we should all have. Give it up to Brother Chaz for a fine job by you. So next, we're going to actually perform a rhythm for you all. It's called Sente. Everyone say Sente.
Sente.
And Sente comes from Guinea, where many of our ancestors come from. Actually, on my maternal line, our ancestors are derived from Guinea. And Guinea, Sente is a rhythm that's a pre-initiation rhythm. And it's particularly for girls. So what would happen is women would gather the girls, and they would make music, they would play drums, but while they're doing that, they're teaching the girls how to become a woman. It takes women to make a woman. So the women would take the girls, teach them, cultivate them, mentor them, while this rhythm of Sente is being played. And you'll see in some of the movements that we have, there's a lot of feminine movements because it's representing the feminine energy. So this rhythm is called Sente. developed 25 years ago when we were in Australia with Baba Jude Laude. We were in a place called Air, and I had been traveling. We were traveling together. We split off to have our solo journeys. I went to Fiji, Jude stayed in Sydney, Chazek went on and worked in a youth hostel. Then we met up in Air, but I met them, they were working on the farm, putting mango trees. And I popped up on the scene after coming back from Fiji. And what we found is that it was really the synthesis of our individual journeys that really crystallized and came together as one. So we call this piece the Journey of Soul. And the Journey of Soul is both a secret journey, but it's also a shared journey. So this is the Journey of Soul. to introduce our Council of Elders, and we would like to acknowledge them.
Yes.
Yes. So in many cultures around the world, including many African cultures, including many West African cultures, you don't address elders by their first name. And you don't address them by Mr. and Mrs. or Miss either. You address them by a title that's a title of honor, a title of respect, and there's many different versions of that. It might simply be Baba, which means father in many languages. So we would say Baba, Gilo, Baba, Chaze. Or if I saw a man on the street and I didn't know his name, I could say, excuse me, Baba, can you, and he would know I'm referring. Instead of saying, oh, yo, what's your name? Hey, excuse me, Baba. Or for the women, we may also say Nana. And in some cultures, it's a gender neutral term. So Nana can also be for the men as well. So I would like to introduce our elders. We have Nana, Denise Martin. We have Baba, Alderman Ruff. We have Baba, George Dotson. We have Nana, Delores Holmes. We have Nana, Rose Johnson. We have Baba, Bill Logan. And we have Baba, Bennett Johnson. And I'm going to give just a very brief introduction of each one of them so that we understand who we are sitting before. These are honored community. These are pillars in our community. And this is the first time that for the Kwanzaa celebration we've had a council of elders. Not that they are the only elders in our community. Not that they are necessarily the top 7 elders. That might be argued by certain people. Right? That's not my argument, but that might be the argument of people. But nonetheless, they are 7 of our pillars in our community. So Nana, Denise Martin, and they are seated in ascending order by age. I'm sorry, by seniority. So Nana Denise Martin, a product of the Evanston schools, from preschool to master's degree during her 34-year career at ETHS. She began as a history teacher and retired as an assistant superintendent and principal, and was responsible for many innovative initiatives to help students. Active in many civic organizations such as the AKA, YWCA, Unity, and more. Her family has a fund as part of the Evanston Community Foundation to help nonprofits here in Evanston. Their bios are like this. So I did my best to reduce it to this. That is not the lump sum of who she is or who they are. I encourage you all, as you see them in the community, engage with them, ask them more about their experience, and I'm sure they would like to share with you. What I would like is that if they were our Council of Elders to kind of parallel our District 65 leadership and District 202 leadership and the City Council, because in the Fiji Islands, for example, they have a Western government, but they have the Tribal of Elders, the Council of Elders, which is a village leadership group that makes sure that the government is doing the right thing on behalf of the people. It keeps them in checks and balances. I wish we had something like that in our community, and I see 7 potential candidates right here. So Nana Denise Martin says, Kwanzaa to me means the opportunity to reconnect and celebrate the heritage of the motherland. Please give it up to Nana Denise Martin. And I remember her when I was walking the halls at ETHS, and I kind of feared her. But you should though, right? You should have that fear, because there comes that respect. And I'd have to say that she was an image to me. Way back then I saw it differently than I do now to see the sister wearing an afro, a natural. I noticed that back in high school, and that's something to recognize. Then next to her, we have Baba Oliver Ruff. He has helped educate children for over 36 years as a teacher, assistant principal, central office administrator, educational consultant, associate principal, and principal. In including at King Lab, before it was King Arts, at Chute School, where he was my assistant principal, keeping me in check. Oakton at Noyes, that might predate some of you all, but Noyes was a school here in Evanston. At Skiles, which morphed into King Lab, which was King Arts, and at ETHS. One of the original founding members of the Cherry Scholarship Board, the Justin Wynn Board, and the Alderman A. Ruff Educational and Mentoring Scholarship Board. A few of his civic activities include, but are not limited to, Opal, United Way, Black Coalition for Equity and Education, NAACP, and a variety of church activities. Baba Oliver's personal mantra is high expectations, no exceptions, no excuses. And you can't escape that. Baba Oliver says Kwanzaa to me means a great love and respect through its identified principles for its celebrated people, resulting in unity and equity. Please give it up to Baba Oliver. And then we have Baba George Dotson. Does anyone in here know somebody named Gary Logan? Anybody? A few people? Okay. Well, Gary Logan is my birth name. A lot of people don't know that. My birth name is Gary Logan. And long story short, people say Gilo and are you trying to get an African name? And like, what does that mean? George Dotson is the one that gave me the name Gilo when I was in 3rd grade at Robert Crown. The G was for Gary, the Lo was for Logan. And I added an I to it to honor the indigenous people of the world who helped to cultivate my identity as an African American, so it became an actual name. Come to find out, I found that name in many different countries. But George is the one who first called me that. So George, Baba George Dotson, thank you. He attended Foster School, Skiles, and ETHS, worked for over 40 years in the city of Evanston as a recreational professional, and 6 years at ETHS as a teacher assistant. He's been honored with the Forest Powell Work Ethic Award, 2 times as the Mentor of the Year Award with Project SOAR at the YMCA, and he looks upon his work as his vocation and his calling. Kwanzaa to Baba George means a time to celebrate our youth, our elders, and those who came before us, our entire community. Please give it up to Baba George. And next we have Nana. You don't need an introduction, right? Nana Delores Holmes. Actually, let me correct that. Nana Orla Delores and Petway Holmes. Hey, let's get that right. She is a retired community activist. I beg to differ with the term retired. I don't think she's retired as a community activist, but those are her words. I'll say that. A retired community activist, an advocate for children and family issues. She began her service as a project head in Project Head Start in 1972. In 2002, after 26 years of service, she retired as a director of Family Focus, Evanston, right across the yard. She served 3 times as Alderwoman of the 5th Ward from 2005 to 2017, and she facilitated a peaceful transfer of power.
Yeah.
Yes. She became a member, that's right, everybody doesn't do that. She became a member of Mount Zion Baptist Church in 1953, where she served as the assistant church treasurer of the Increased Giving Program, church school superintendent, and announcement clerk. And currently she serves as an usher and a missionary. It was in 2002 that she was awarded from the Illinois Humanities Council the Studs Terkel Humanities Service Award. 2003 Distinguished Alumni Award from ETHS, and the National Lewis University Distinguished Alumni Award in 2004. She's the Commissioner of the Equity Empowerment Commission for the City of Evanston right now. The parliamentarian for the Foster School Senior Club, an active member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, and a life member of the NAACP and a member of the League of Women Voters. Kwanzaa, to Nana Delores, means family, celebration of our blessings. Please give it up. Nana Rose Harris Johnson. When I was a young lad struggling to read, she was one of the teachers that taught me how to read. So people call me Dr. Logan, but there's no doctor without back in 8th grade learning how to read, right? And back then, that was another sister who had the natural. I remember that. That really stood out to me. And they still wear the crown today. So Nana Rose Harris Johnson, a retired educator, having taught for more than 30 years in Chicago Public Schools as well as District 65 and 202. She served as a District 65 school board for 8 years and serving as president for 2 of those years. She also volunteered in several Evanston schools as a tutor. For many years, she worked on many boards in Evanston, mainly those serving the needs of children. A great honor was her tenure on the trustee board of her beloved alma mater, Spelman College. Currently, she's the chairperson of the Foster Center, Our Place, right across the yard. Chairperson of the Family Focus Auxiliary Board, across the yard, and a member of the Warren Cherry Scholarship Fund. She's married to Robert L. Johnson, has 2 adult children and 2 of the world's greatest grandchildren, she says. Nana Rose Johnson. Next, we have Baba Bill Logan.
Yeah.
Baba Bill Logan has a long history of serving the Evanston community and our country. He attended Foster School and Haven Middle School, where he earned High Points in Activity Award, which was presented to the students who received the most points for outstanding service. At Haven, he was also captain of the football team, elected president of the famed Haven Boys Glee Club, and chosen as class president. For our young people in the audience, you're in junior high school, get involved, right? Okay, but I won't let you. At Evanston Township High School, he was the first black homeroom president, the first black senior class president, the first black football captain, the first black football player to receive the Myerson Award for Excellence in Football for 4 years. He joined the U.S. Air Force during the Korean War, and after discharge, he joined the Evanston Police Department in 1957. He had the honor of being selected to serve as a bodyguard for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. when he came to Evanston. He advanced through the ranks of the department, becoming the first African-American lieutenant, captain, deputy chief, and chief of police. He co-founded NOBLE, the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement, 43 years ago. FAM, the Fellowship of African-American Men, 52 years ago, a basketball league that's running here. And he co-founded the Chestnut Club 61 years ago. And coincidentally, we happen to share the same last name. And we just happen to be related. I'm sure that's the greatest accomplishment, right? Trying to keep me in check. But Kwanzaa to Baba Bill means a time to honor family, community, and service to others. Please give it up to Baba Bill Logan. And last but not least, Baba Bennett Johnson. He has a lengthy history of activity in numerous civic, social, and civil rights and political action groups. He was the president of the Evanston branch of the NAACP for 9 years. In 1956, he began a working relationship with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. that lasted until the demise of Dr. King. In 1958, he was one of the founders with former Congressman Gus Savage and Herbert Gilbert of the independent black political movement in Chicago. For 40 years, he was a close associate, speechwriter, and advisor to the late Harold Washington. His work in book publishing began in 1961 when he organized Path Press with Herbert Gilbert and Frank London Brown. In 2001, Path Press joined forces with Third World Press, where he presently serves as vice president. He is a graduate of ETHS, publisher of the Evanston Sentinel paper, and honorary consul general for the Republic of Uganda. He also, Maulana Karenga, who was the founder of Kwanzaa, Baba Bennett was at UCLA prior to Maulana Kareem going to UCLA, and he was the president of the UCLA chapter of the NAACP. So he helped to pave the way for Maulana Kareem. While he was stirring up trouble over there, or rebel rousing. But Kwanzaa to Baba Bennett means providing African Americans an opportunity to celebrate ourselves and our rich heritage. Please give it up to our Council of Elders. And I would like to, on behalf of the City of Evanston, on behalf of the Fleetwood-Jourdain Theater, on behalf of our community of Kwanzaa, Baba Bennett, if you can please stand. Can you escort him? He's gonna make his way up to the stage. Even the elders respect the elders. So, Baba Bennett, from the Fleetwood-Jourdain Theater, you are being honored with the Legacy of Cultural Excellence Award. Honoring Bennett Johnson in appreciation for your contribution to the preservation of Black identity and service to our Evanston community. December 26, 2019, on behalf of Tim Rhoze, the Artistic Director of the Fleetwood-Jourdain Community Center, and myself. And we have a piece that's titled Gilo Kwesi. That means the way of peace. And this is in honor of our Council of Elders and all of our elders here in Evanston. And that's going to transition into a piece called Jambado. And Jambado is a piece that was played when enslaved Africans were on the ships coming to the so-called New World. They were taken up from the belly of the ship, brought up top, and they were made to dance. They were made to dance because the slave owners wanted their cargo to be strong and healthy. And this rhythm, Jambado, is a rhythm that was being played, not to slaves. They did not come here as slaves. They came here as free men and women who were enslaved once they got here. And even once they got here, they were not slaves. We need to change the terminology of the language. They are not slaves. They are people who were enslaved or enslaved people. Because otherwise we are objectifying them as well. So we're going to go from Gilo Kwesi, the way of peace, to Jambado.
So, Gilo Kwesi, as Baba Gilo said, is it's a song that means the way of peace. So, okay, news alert, I'm actually going to sing this song. I don't consider myself a singer, but on behalf of the community, through me, I'm going to sing this to you all. I noticed Baba Gilo has a cheat sheet, so I'm also going to keep a cheat sheet for myself because this is a Manding song from Guinea, West Africa. I'm not.
Oh yeah, yeah, oh, Gilo Kwesi Yenati, Nayon Yude, Nayon Mutakun, Katunja Wosi Lenu Yalaba, Billion Munugabu Sami Yano, Katunja Wosi Yayatwa, Nayon Yude, Nayon Mutakun, Katunja Wosi Ingulalaba. Ah yeah, oh, Gilo Kwesi Yenati, Nayon Yude, Nayon Mutakun, Katunja Wosi Ingulalaba. Billion Lulu Nabula Dinyona, Katini Ya Wosi Yayatwa, Nayon Yude,
This is a piece we did over a decade ago at Washington Elementary School. I just thought of the idea of bridging our one-hand tradition of West African music with our other tradition of jazz music. And there's a natural partnership there, and this is a result of that collaboration. So this is Jamba Dog. is a rhythm associated with the harvest, which is fitting considering Kwanzaa is the celebration of the first fruits of the harvesting. Although it's cold, bare over here, but it's fruitful and colorful. Things are being harvested over there. Nonetheless, it's the end of our calendar year, and we want to reap the benefits of our labor and work throughout this year. So this is in honor of the farmers and the work that they do to put food on our tables. And it's in honor of the hard work that we all do day in and day out, trying to make a better life. It's in honor of the hard work of our elders and our ancestors along the way. So this is Kasa. on behalf of Soul Creations, on behalf of our Council of Elders, and on behalf of Tim Rhoze, there's a few more words.
I don't have anything, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.